Part 6 of How to Get Sober and How AA and these 12-step programs oppose anyone's ability to do so. Part 6 simply is to move on with your life. What I mean is, once you have finally gotten sober and you have finally overcome the mental restraints drug and alcohol have had on you, it's time to move on to bigger, better, and more important things in your life. Once you move on from solely focusing on drugs and alcohol, you can then start to focus on the underlying issues that led to your addiction in the first place. Issues that once addressed will keep you from ever even wanting to use again. Smart recovery, rational recovery, moderation management, LifeRing, SOS, all teach people to overcome their addiction, moving on to bigger and better things in their life. 12-step groups offer no such solution. Very much the opposite, actually. 12-step groups, AA and these 12-step groups, are the only groups that teach their members that they suffer a lifelong illness to drugs and alcohol, that once an addict, you are always an addict, that you must devote the rest of your life to this program, that you need to put this program before your family and your own children. Rather than work on breaking codependency issues, they only enable these issues. Just like the drugs these members were addicted to, they believe this cult is their lifeline, that without it they will die. They teach their members to rely only on the program. You'll hear it all the time from these members. Oh, AA saved my life. Without NA I would be dead. AA was the miracle of my life. They denounce members from taking any credit for themselves, constantly asking their members to thank and praise them. These groups can fool people into wasting an entire lifetime in their rooms. People who have relapsed 5, 10, 15 times and will still mindlessly say, well, it works if you work it. Their sponsors telling them, oh, see, you didn't work it right that time. Better luck next time. Rather than telling them, hey, maybe this program isn't for you. Maybe you should try something else. But no, they tell them to wait for the miracle to happen. And this is how it works. Then, when the person is beaten down and their life is destroyed beyond all repair, and the person finally chooses to get sober out of no other option, AA says, see, the program does work. The miracle has happened. Just keep coming back. Keep coming back. Keep coming back. Yeah, keep coming back until it kills you. This dogma is preached and instilled upon its newer members by sponsors. In these 12-step groups, you will have a sponsor, a self-proclaimed expert on addiction. They teach its members that for the rest of their life, they will need a sponsor to help make all grown-up decisions for them. People that have enough persuasion to tell a judge if you should or should not be able to see your children. Enough persuasion that some of the sponsors here in my community are lawyers and judges themselves. I say, what gives them this right? To be a sponsor, there are no regulations other than you need a year sober, which many of the members just lie about to become one. No medical training, no formal classes, no regulations on who can and cannot be a sponsor, nothing. The mentally unstable, immature, incompetent, these are the people responsible for getting kids off drugs? I think not. A perfect example of the blind leading the blind. These 12-step groups like to boast, oh, well, who better to get a drunk or addict better than another drunk or addict? We don't need doctors and medicine. I heard a great analogy the other day on the subject. It's like saying, yeah, who better to get a homeless guy off the street than another homeless guy that's on the street? You know, to help him find a good job, build his credit, apply for a loan. This is nonsense. Learn to think for yourself. Learn to move on with your life and better other aspects of your life. Much more success, happiness, and value in your life will follow. As I said in the last video, your addiction does not define who you are. You will never overcome addiction in these 12-step groups. Drugs and alcohol still run their members' lives, allowing drugs and alcohol to still dictate their lives, places they can go, people you can and cannot associate with. For life, spending countless hours obsessing over and worshiping drugs and alcohol in a church basement. Living in the past of your own drug use, constantly sharing your own life experience of drug use. How could you ever possibly say you're free of addiction living this lifestyle? These programs then like to compare out, oh, we're like other programs too. We tell people just to take what they need from the program and leave the rest. Then in the same breath tell their members the consequences for leaving the cult are jails, institutions, and death. This is a cheap sales trick to keep never-ending doubt in people's mind. The only thing benefiting from instilling this mentality are these 12-step based rehabs that are raking in millions due to return customers. These 12-step groups do not want to see addiction end. Without addiction, without being able to sponsor people, without their rooms being full of donating people, their lives would be meaningless. Without this cult, their lives would be meaningless. They get their meaning from seeing people suffer. They don't want courts to stop ordering pedophiles and sex offenders into their rooms. They're just more people for donations to them, cowardly putting their own members at risk. Do not fall into this false dogma. You do not have to live a life where drugs and alcohol dictate and run your life. You don't have to identify yourself as an addict or alcoholic. Move forward with your life, not constantly reminding yourself and glorifying days of your drug use. Once you move on from this, once you stop focusing on nothing other than drugs and alcohol, you can then start to focus on bigger, deeper aspects of your life. Make drugs and alcohol a thing of the past, a distant memory, and move forward with your life. This is the only way to be truly free of addiction. And that'll do it for this 6-part series. And I'll see you guys for the next one. Thank you.